Hello! Welcome along to this week's episode of the Let's Get Running podcast. How is Jermaine? The Caramel Kid.
I'm good. How's Sean, the White Devil?
He's very good. He's listening to you in Costa Coffee in Greenwich.
Shh, don't tell too many people, it might get busy.
We're letting you have a look behind the curtain. It's Jermaine in a coffee shop.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes. So what are we talking about today?
We're talking about today. Well, I haven't even asked you how you're doing. Have you got any? Is the bus has been alright? You're working today. You're busy.
So the other day, driving along a small road, old lady gets on. And she says she needs to go to somewhere, right? And then I'm driving along, and then I just completely forget. So I go past the stop, and then I look in my mirror, the inside, and I just see her sitting there, and I'm like, ah. So I was thinking, she asked me specifically, can you tell me where this stop is?
Yeah.
I was thinking, I'll listen to the announcement. Obviously, she didn't listen to the announcement.
Oh no.
And I forgot to tell her, so she's sitting there waiting for me to tell her, looking at it, and I'm like, oh man. So I was thinking, I just have to bite the bullet. So I got out, alright, and I was like, oh, sorry, I forgot. I said, we missed the stop by a long way.
So word of advice to anyone?
I didn't feel bad, so don't knock the driver.
He's got to concentrate on turning the steering wheel and all that.
Yeah, it's quite big here, you know what I'm saying.
Poor little old ladies now, lost in the middle of nowhere. Well, I'm running a race tomorrow. I'm running the Dam Tot Dam here in Amsterdam. It's a 10-mile race, very famous race. Lots of really fast runners.
Okay.
I think, who's the lad from New Zealand? One of the twins. He's doing it. So it's like quite a big event. Robertson's, that's the one. But they're doing it. There's a few other people doing it. I think it's quite a big one. There'll be lots of Kenyans in there. But obviously, I haven't run hard for a long time. So my calf is better, I think. I've come down with a little illness again. So basically,
did you skip that session?
No, I didn't skip it. I tried it. I lasted 1.5 kilometers and the calf got worse. So it's not been good. It's been really bad. So I haven't really trained or run properly for about 3 weeks now, which is really disappointing. But
you preach, but you don't listen.
I preach, but I don't listen. But I have rested since then, and I've been very good since. I've been doing lots of rehab, lots of recovery, and we'll get there. But hopefully, if I'm not ill tomorrow, which I'm feeling a bit under the weather, I'll just give it a go training.
So why you want it? Did you have to pay to enter?
No. I've got a free place, so it's fine. But I'm just going to do it.
So why are you if your calf is dodgy and then you're coming back with illness, why are you going to do the race? Because that's going to knock you back. Do
you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm not going to do it as a race. I'm just going to run it. So I'm not going to.
Everyone says that and they get competitive.
Yeah, I know. I've got to try and be cautious, but I think it's going to be a good test for me to sort of say, right, I'm going to try and run at marathon pace. Start off 3:20s. Don't ignore everybody that's around me. Ignore what's going on.
Even when a pencil or a toilet goes past.
Even when a pencil or a toilet goes past. Shout out Dave Reagan. I've got to stay true to the game and not get roped into it. So yeah, I'm going to be focused on that. But actually, thinking about what I think's gone wrong so far in my training. So I've had loads of good advice. I've had lots of good training help, but I think what I've not done very well is I've not been able to sort of relax. So I've been working hard. I've been working long hours and long days. I've been not recovering, and I've been too stressed out with other stuff, which has meant my training's not gone as well as I'd hoped. So I think one thing that runners forget, they think about everything else, training, they think about their eating, they think about their strength and conditioning, but what they don't think is the stress in their lives that can affect their recovery and affect their training. And it makes a huge difference how relaxed you are in the rest of your life. So we are today going to chat about how you can de-stress and how you can relax and...
But we're doing the PG version.
This show has a parental advisory.
Because if you're on the X-ray version, it's coming to I have to start my own show, won't I?
Yeah, we have a parental advice. We haven't got a parental advisory, so this one's going to be clean. But you can understand what Jermaine's saying. But yeah, how can you get rid of? And then we've got a really good interview today with a guy. You'll hear a bit later, but a guy Markus. He has a book out at the moment. It's a really interesting book. He's a Swedish runner, and he was competing to a very high level. He had an incredibly stressful time with his coach and his family life. and he just decided that he didn't want to live in a city. He wanted to move out, and he wanted to just experience living in the nature and enjoying his running again. So he went and lived there, lived up in the north of Sweden for 4 years in a tent. Continued to ran some really great times. You hear a lot about it in a minute, but so we won't go into too much detail. But
so what do you do to de-stress then, Sean?
What do I do?
Yeah,
I this is something I have loads of trouble with, right? Because I think I can't do it very well. So I'm my own boss, and being your own boss is difficult. And also, my work is tied up in my running. So like I run run groups for companies, and I do a bit of personal coaching. So I'm thinking about running the whole day, and also I want to grow the business, and I'm working hard at trying to grow that. And so it means because I'm on my own boss and because I'm working on myself, I find it really difficult just to go and switch off and think about nothing. And actually, that's what causes me to have rows with my wife, is that I'm always connected, and I'm always thinking of extra things I could do for the business, extra things I could do for my running, and it means I'm not very good at it. So actually, I'm not a good person to talk about it, really. But what about you? Are you able to?
Like, I know before races and stuff, I always try and watch DVDs because if you're not tired, obviously you just can't go to sleep. So you need to stay up. But at least watching TV or like DVDs and stuff, your body's resting, but your mind's still functional.
Yeah, okay.
So that's what I did. But people obviously read and stuff, and then you can play games, but the problem about playing games, then you start can get competitive, and then obviously the juices start flowing. So like, to chill out, it's just like watch a movie and stuff.
Yeah, okay. And do you think is work is work? You do that, and are you able to kind of quickly forget about it and move on and not think about it too much?
I think even like when people do the BMCs on the Wednesday and then they're working that day.
Yeah.
I still think because they know they just go up to work and just can't be bothered to work that day, so they work really lazy. So I think subconsciously people do try to ease off everything they're doing when they know they're competing.
Yeah. Yeah, they should do. I don't, which is silly. I'll be trying to fit everything. Like right now, I'm thinking about all the stuff I've got to do next week, rather than thinking I've got a race tomorrow. So it's really hard to do. It's not an easy thing to think. But there are sort of things you can do, I guess, like switching off your phone. Like people talk about this, and they switching off your phone at a certain time of night. Like making sure you work the hours you want to work. And people we're not very good in England. Like living here in Amsterdam, people are very good at work is 8 o'clock till 5 o'clock. Then I'm done. That's it. Whereas I think in England, we work long hours, particularly people who are London based. You work really long hours. Because you think that's the way to get ahead, is to do more and more and more. But I think the more I'm trying to personally think about, right, I'm going to work hard between the hours of I don't know 10 till 4. If I can do a bit either side of it, that's fine. But don't worry, don't sweat the fact you can't do everything, because you can't do everything. You can't do everything with your running. You can't do everything with work. And you've got to have some time where you switch off from all of it and not worry about it. So I'm really going to try and work hard at that this year. Read a few books.
But do something different like that you don't usually do, and then when you're doing that, this is de-stress time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Apart from abusing yourself.
So I'm going to read. I'm taking that on. I'm going to start reading more, which is good. I'm going to try and do. I've got a book I'm reading at the moment about. I forget the name of it now. It's about Nazi Germany. I like that sort of stuff. So I'm reading that.
Okay.
And watching The Bodyguard. Have you seen that show on BBC? Oh, that's good. Top notch. No. Yeah, but anyway. But we should catch up with Markus. He's going to talk to us about how he wanted to get away from what he was doing, and how his tips for relaxing and breaking away from the stresses of modern life. And he's going to come up next. Here we go. On today's show, we are talking to Markus Torgeby. How are you doing, Markus?
It's perfect.
Good. Yeah, I got the pronunciation just about right.
Yeah, it's perfect. Markus Torgeby, but I think it's hard to just say it right if you're from England.
Yeah, I'm currently in Holland at the moment. I'm really struggling with the G's, because they really accentuate the noise, which English people aren't very good at doing anything other than speaking English, unfortunately.
No,
but you've got a book out at the moment. What's the title of the book?
The Runner, and it's published today, the 23rd of August. Yes.
Great. So go out and pick it. And you're over in the UK at the moment doing, or very soon doing some publicity of the book. Yeah,
I'm going now Saturday. So like a little bit of a tour about the book. Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about the book. Let's talk about sort of the beginning of your interest in running.
Yeah.
How did you sort of get the bug? How did you start running originally?
I was quite young when I ran my first competition. I think I was 12, and I just liked the feeling. It was very, clear. It was just me, no one around me, and I liked to just be in my legs and in my head. So I just liked it from the start.
Yeah.
But I didn't start training until I was 16. Then I started training for real. But I ran my first competition when I was 12, and I remember that I liked the feeling. It was just me.
Yeah.
It was very breathe fresh air. It was the same feeling.
Yeah. I read you had you did 44 minutes for 10k. Was that right? At that age?
Yeah, when I was 10. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. 10. Wow.
Yeah, and then I think I ran in 38 minutes when I was 12.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Okay. So already showing a potential for it.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. And when you started training, what pushed you to make that step and to start becoming more serious about what you were doing?
Yeah, I played hockey at that time, and I was a really good hockey player in Sweden, top level as a junior. But when you play with a team, it was so many people. And after the season was finished, when I was 15 years old, a father to a hockey mate, a guy that I train with, he told me, Markus, you are a really good hockey player, but I think you should start to train running. So I just started. I think he saw the potential, and I just remember the time when I was, 12, the feeling I had, and I didn't have that feeling when I trained ice hockey, it was too many people around me. So I just started when I quit school when I was 15, and then just took the bus and the ferry into town and start to train with the club in Gothenburg, and immediately I felt this is the shit,
Yeah. And you're obviously competing at a high level there at various.
Yeah, after just 2 weeks of training, I ran my first nationals, 3,000 meters.
Wow.
And I was number 4th, just 3 seconds after the winner. I was a little bit disappointed, but I felt that this is my thing.
Yeah.
I have just trained for 2 weeks, I think I had around 9 minutes. So.
Wow.
From the beginning, it was just so, I came to my trainer and he told me what to do, and I just did it, and I felt great,
Yeah.
And
what was training like back then? Was it? Were you out running around the streets of Gothenburg? Were you doing lots of track training? What did you really enjoy most?
It was really intense training. We ran at the track almost every day. Every Sunday we ran long intervals on the grass, but Monday to Friday it was intervals on the track. And now, if I look back, I think it was too intense. But yeah, it was really intense at the track every day, So
yeah. And you talked. Do you think it was? You talked a bit about the health of your mother in the book, and was that a diversion? Do you think, having the almost addiction to running? Do you think that was a diversion from your mother's health?
No, I think I have always had restless legs.
Yeah.
To sit still.
Yeah.
It was really hard, but when my mother got really, really ill, and I just saw her struggling, just try to sit up in the chair, I think. When I run, it was just freedom for me. So a combination with a lot of energy in the legs, and also to see my mother get really, really ill. So a combination, I think.
Yeah. And what was it she was suffering from?
Multiple sclerosis.
Okay.
MS.
Yeah.
So
okay.
And she was just 28 years old when the what do you say, disease hit her.
Yeah.
And just after 1 year, she sat in a wheelchair, and she became very, very ill, really, really fast. So it was tough to see that, and she's cries a lot, and it was tough for me and my siblings to just take care of her, because we didn't take any care or help. You say,
yeah.
We tried to fix everything by ourselves, and my father, he works a lot, so it's what up to me and my siblings to help her with toilet and to feed her and things like that.
Yeah. And what's your relationship like with your siblings now? You guys fairly close?
Yeah, we are really close.
Yeah.
I live up north in Sweden, but they live down south on the island where I was born.
Yeah.
And they live happy, good life, so it's perfect.
Yeah. And being sort of a national competitor and that sort of thing, and having obviously your mum's deteriorating condition, did you feel pressure when running to compete and to succeed?
No, not from my mother.
No.
But I think when you are young, it's easy to think like big thoughts. Immediately when I start running, I thought about the Olympics or the World Cup or things like that. I dream big from the beginning.
Yeah.
And then my trainer, he was the same. So I felt more pressure from a trainer.
Yeah.
But not from my mother or my father. No.
No, because I think you talked about a situation where you were training for the European Junior Championships or to qualify for that, and you got injured, but then sort of the coach was keen to keep you running. Was he like that a lot?
He was really. He trained a lot of good runners in Sweden, so I thought that this guy, the way we train is the right way,
Yeah.
But we train really, really hard, and I push really, really hard. And then when you come home after training, I didn't understand that if I train hard, I also must eat a lot of food and to rest,
Yeah.
I didn't understand that. And so I was tired a lot in my body, and my trainer just continued to push. And when we were at the high altitude training camp before the European Championship, and my foot just collapsed and it became really swollen, and my trainer just told me that it's no problem with your foot, it's just your head, you have problem in the head, so then I realized that I cannot do this anymore, and I just felt that this is not the right way, So,
yeah. And how old were you then?
What?
How old were you then?
18, 19 years old.
Okay.
So but just I started running when I was 16, and then I ran my second national when I have maybe trained for 6 months. And I remember before the start, my trainer told me, Markus, you are the only guy that can win today. And I just remember I get really nervous when he told me that, because he looks really angry in his eyes when he told me that.
Yeah.
And then I did a mistake, so I didn't win, and he was so frustrating, and he was really, really angry after that. And something happens in the head after that, because I felt that he really wanted me to run fast, and I just felt like a big pressure.
Yeah.
On me. And when it was big competition, I get really stressed, so I always run really poor when it was big competition.
Right.
And he became more and more frustrated. So it was no good time,
Yeah.
And sometimes when it was like small competitions, then I run really fast. So I had the talent, and but I didn't run well when I should run well, like in nationals and things like that. So I struggled a lot with my head, but I didn't realize that it was my head that had the problems, because I was so young,
Yeah.
And then I didn't understand that when you feel that kind of pressure, that can do a lot of things to your body,
Yeah.
So it took me a very long time to realize that I must take care of my heads,
Yeah. So you continued with the coach after those periods, or did you then make a change and?
Yeah, I did. I came back home, and I couldn't run anymore, so I just I stopped running for maybe 1 year. And then, I moved up north because, it was really hard back home. My mother was really, really ill.
Yeah.
And we didn't know how long will she survive. But when I run, it was an easy feeling inside. So I just, it was not an escape, but a little bit like an escape when I run. And then when I came back home after the training camp, I couldn't run anymore. So then the stress becoming bigger.
Yeah.
And, it was just crazy inside. So I didn't know what to do. So then I just realized I must put myself in a situation where it's just me. So then I took the decision to just leave everything and took the train up north. And then I just took like a rucksack and just walk out in the forest up north in Sweden and just build myself a really, a basic base camp. And I just stayed there for 4 years,
Did you know how long? Did you have an intention of how long you want to stay?
It was just a survival thing,
Yeah.
It was really crazy in the head, I remember my mother told me, Marcus, can you go down to the store and buy some bread? And when I came to the store and tried to choose between all those different kinds of breads, I couldn't because, it was so stressful in the head,
Yeah.
It's crazy, So then I just took the train, and it was the best thing for me to do.
Yeah. Did you tell your parents before you left?
Yeah, I told my parents, and of course my father was worried.
Yeah.
But my mother, she didn't say anything. I think that she realized that this is the best thing for Marcus to do.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And how did you logistically? Did you have much experience of kind of living out in the?
No.
No.
When I was kid, I was in the Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
So I have learned some, but not much. But if you go to do something that you never had done before, you must start a little bit slow.
Yeah.
And you're going to live outside in the northern part of Sweden. A good month to start is August, because then it's still quite warm outside, and it's a lot of water and no mosquitoes. So I just started in August and thought that when the winter come, the problems, maybe I will have time to train myself.
Okay. Yeah. So what did you live in? What did you build for your camp?
I just built like a small teepee made of a cotton, like a pillow made of cotton.
Okay.
So I just build, and then I build a bed, so I don't lay on the ground.
Yeah.
A bed that put me maybe 30 centimeters from the ground.
Yeah.
And I built from trees and things like that. And then I had a big sleeping bag, and then I bought some reindeer skin, because I heard that to have reindeer skin in the bed is really warm. So I just built a small camp and chop a lot of wood, so I can put in the fire in the winter time.
Yeah. And what was going through your mind then when you were there in the first couple of weeks?
In the first couple of weeks was perfect, because I had a lot of things to do. I was to build the camp and things like that. But after maybe 1 month, everything was, fixed.
Yeah.
Then a big restless feeling hits me in the head, and it's not easy. It's not easy to just be by yourself out in the forest. So I was restless a lot, but then I just put myself on a tree stump, and I just sit there for maybe 3 months. Then the restless feeling just went away, and it was a big relief. And it's learned me a lot, because I was used to just do a lot of things to help my mother and to compete and to train. All my life was just built around that thing, to do things.
And regimented.
And then after 3 months in the forest, I had a really happy feeling inside, even if I didn't do anything. And that's learned me a lot,
Yeah. And did you know kind of what, obviously you can tell the seasons by the weather, but did you know what day of the week it was? Did you know what?
Oh, not the day of the week, but But the fall came, and then I just followed the daylight and things like that. But if it was Monday or Friday, I didn't know, and I didn't care. I was, it was perfect anyway.
Yeah. And what did you do for food and things? Were you well stocked?
I took the things that were around me in the forest. In the fall, it's a lot of berries and mushrooms, and I fish a lot. But I was not, maybe every 3rd month I go down to the. It was like a small village, maybe 3 hours walking from a place, and I bought a lot of oatmeal and things like that. So I had some like basic needs food.
Yeah.
That I had in the teepee. So I just eat simple food, porridge and vegetables and linses and sometimes fish and things like that.
Wow! And did you keep in touch with your family? Were you able to communicate in any way?
Yeah, but not so much. Sometimes I just took my skis or running shoes and run down to the nearest village and ask someone if I can, borrow the telephone, and then I called my mother or my father. But it was hard for my mother to talk at that time. She was really, really ill, but I think it was important for her to hear my voice. Yeah. And I think she just felt that, okay, Markus, he have like a good life, so it was okay.
Yeah. And did you rediscover a joy for running? Did you keep?
Yeah. I start running again after my injury get healed again. But then I run from just a different, direction. Yeah. I realized that I am not going to be the best runner in the world, but I still love to run. To just run by myself over the hills, to see all those horizons and moose, and to feel the smell from the the trees. So I discover my running again, but from a different direction.
Yeah.
And
did you keep fit? Were you still in shape to race and things? Did you still go and do them?
Yeah, after a couple of years in the forest, I ran for the national team in Sweden.
Wow.
But I didn't run, so I was in good shape, But compete, it was not my number one focus. So, and if it's not your number one focus, maybe I was good, but I was not willing to pay the price to be really, really good again, because I just realized that, running is much more than just competing.
Yeah.
So I just stayed in the forest and run for myself, and run in the, the small, the paths that the animals made in the forest, Yeah. It is, it was really joyful to run again.
Yeah.
And I felt no pressure.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think seriously that many people today that are in the competition world, they must, if they can find more motivation, if the only reason they training is to compete, I think that's a little bit poor,
Yeah.
Of course, it's a good feeling when you feel the push in the legs, and you feel that you have like the shape of your life. But if you also can realize that sometimes the food will taste better, and to run the distance training in very beautiful places, you will get more motivated. So
Yeah, absolutely. I certainly feel like I'm in my training for a marathon at the moment. I'm training, and I ran a 5K race at a friend's wedding, and I was annoyed with myself for running a bad time on a race I didn't really feel good for, and I was it was ridiculous. It was stupid. There's more to life than running a sort of a 15-minute 5K. There's much more.
I think so anyway.
Yeah, and there must have been in that first year, and particularly in that first winter, some really dark moments. Was it like, obviously it's cold, and there's not much daylight during the day in northern Sweden? No. And sometimes it's minus 40 degrees. Cool.
And I only had a what do you say a fire running maybe 2 hours every night, but in the nights just if it was minus 40 degrees outside, I had minus 40 degrees inside. But I was always warm when I laid in my sleeping bag. So that was like a big relief for me. Sometimes, of course, in the daytime, it was really, really cold. My toes was white because of the cold.
Yeah.
But, that's also a good feeling, because if I don't get some warm in my toes, they will fall off. So everything become very clear what's important. You understand?
Yeah. Keep moving.
To reflect your life in those kind of basic need things, I think that can be really helpful if you struggle with your head, because everything become very clear. Okay, this is important. To get warm in my toes are important. No?
Yeah, okay.
To get food in the stomach are really important. And then you get food in the stomach, and then you feel just a big happy feeling immediately. You understand? And I think the society we live today, people don't feel that anymore, because you are always a little bit satisfied. I think you're not so hungry, but it's a good feeling to be really hungry sometimes.
Yeah.
And to freeze. And then when you freeze, you just start a fire, and then you feel the fire in the face, and your hands become warmer and warmer. And, it's a great feeling.
Yeah.
It's the best feeling. And I think, so I think, and it was because of that I stayed out there for myself in 4 years.
Yeah.
It was very, very, it was good feeling in my head, and it was a good feeling in my body. I was never sick.
Really?
I was never tired. I just felt strong, and I was happy.
Yeah.
And I felt big calm inside, no stress,
Yeah.
So
fantastic.
I think more people should try to do things like that. Maybe not 4 years, but just 1 week or 1 month.
Yeah.
It's a good.
Yeah.
I think that I can.
It's very difficult to switch off from anything. Everything's a kind of like almost a conveyor belt of little tasks you have to do in a day, and this is important and that's important. But actually, you're right. None of it really matters that much to keep us moving.
No, and of course, now I have family. I have a wife and 3 kids. So, and in that time I was just 20 years old and by myself.
Yeah.
But so it's a little bit more difficult to do that kind of living right now. But every time I am out for a run, it's like I opening a door into those thoughts I had 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to find some things in your life that you're just doing it and it feels great.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you run, for me, it's running. My wife, she's like a painter.
Yeah. Okay.
When she paints, I just see in her eyes and that she is in the moment, and I think that's important in the time we're living today, because it's so easy to, it's so much information all the time, all the day.
Yeah.
If you are in that kind of information every day, I think it's easy to lost your own head,
Yeah. And it's the same with the training as well. Like with the marathon training that I'm in. It's, every session is a building block towards this one goal, and there's lots of other things tied up with that goal. So I don't know, like I've told everybody about it. There's a pressure on me to now achieve that. I've released it on the podcast. I'm now telling people I'm getting people to help, and every session seems important. There's a pressure about every single session. It's never, I'm just going to go out for a run because I just don't enjoy this. You do lose that, and it's very easy to lose sight of that. So very, very important point, I think.
Yeah, I think so, and I think, and I think you can combine those things. When I compete a little bit more, I had like maybe every week, if I train like between 12 and 14 times, I had like 4 times that I focused really. I did some intervals, whatever, and maybe the other time I were out for a run, I just try to run just more freely in the head, because I know that I still will get some effect of the training. You don't need to be 100% focused every time. If you just run distance, the reason why you run distance is just to get your heart pumping, and then so I think you can combine them.
Yeah, absolutely. And
because if you every time you train is like 100% focus, I think you will get really tired in the head. And I have realized that take care of the head, to take care of the motivation is the most important thing. Because if you push too much, you will get tired in the head, and then you will quit. So you must also listen to your head.
Yeah, absolutely. And in the period that you were out there in the forest, did you go and go out to Tanzania? Is that right?
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Because I did a competition in Norway, and I ran really well. And then there were some Tanzanian and Kenyan guys at that competition. And when I saw them running, I just realized that, shit, they run really, smooth.
Yeah.
And I just thought maybe they can teach me something. So I just asked their coach if it was possible for me and to visit them. So and he just, of course. So I just took the airplane to Nairobi and then the bus to Tanzania, and then I just stayed there and trained with those guys for 6 months.
Nice. So, wow. And did you learn a lot from them as well?
Yeah, I did. But I did also some big mistakes because, it's easy for me to give, 100%. And I push it really, really hard, and I didn't eat so much. So after maybe some months, I get some problem with the food, when you get really, really skinny, it was hard for me to eat again. So I just get more and more tired, and I had a lot of bad thoughts in my head, But of course, I also saw that, they run a lot of high speed training, but not with lactic acid. They run just below that point, and I think that's what was one of the main reasons why they were so good runners. They were very, very relaxed, and then they were really, really good to take a rest. And I think that is one why they are so good runners is because of that. They are good to just rest. They don't read books or play, computer games. They just lay at the bed, and then you have just 100% focus in running. And that is one. And I think when you live in the society in Sweden and maybe United Kingdom, it's so much things around you, and I think that kind of things also take a lot of energy from your body.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But you live in Tanzania, you run in the morning, then you eat, and then you run in the evening, and then you rest. And of course you become a really good runner if you live a life like that. And I realized to be a really good runner, you must live quite a boring life. It's,
like
you
a monk.
Pay that price. And I don't think that so many people just realize how high that price can. It's a high price to pay.
Yeah, absolutely. And coming back then from there, did it change the way you lived in the forest, or I guess it's very difficult?
No, it don't change the way I lived in the forest, but I think it changed my way of training.
Yeah.
I after Tanzania, I run a lot more. What to say? In Sweden we call it, but like threshold training, not with lactic, but just below that. I trained that a lot. Maybe sometimes around 120 kilometers every week in that pace, and then the rest of the training, maybe 120 kilometers, was just slow distance. So in the winter time, I trained really much in quite high speed training, but with control. And I think that was the way they train in Tanzania, and I know that is one of the reasons why they are so good.
Yeah, particularly at the marathons. And so obviously it's a long period, 4 years to be out, especially as quite a young man, really, sort of 24. Firstly, how did you stick at it for so long? And secondly, what made you then come back? What was the decision to leave the forest eventually?
It was just a happy life in the forest, so that's why I just continue. You know, I didn't see. I had no other direction, Yeah. But after 4 years, a friend came out to the teepee, and then he told me, Marcus, you must call your father. And then I just thought maybe my mother is dead, so I just run down to the village and call my father. And then he told me, Marcus, your mother is still here, but your grandfather, he is soon going to die. So if you want to say goodbye to him, you must take the train down south. So I took the train down south, and my grandpa, I was really close to my grandpa, he had been like a fisherman for a whole life, and he was we understand each other. And then he just told me, what are you doing up north, and soon I'm going to die, but first I will give you an advice. And then he told me, I think you must find yourself a woman, and then you must married her, and then you must let her decide over you, then you will have a happy life, and then he died that day after.
Really?
So I took that thoughts and that advice with me to the forest, and maybe I thought about that a lot, and then just a couple of months later I met my wife, and then I took the decision to just leave the forest after 4 years. So
okay,
that's why.
Yeah. And what's your setup like now then? So you moved, did you move into the local village? Did you stay in the north of Sweden, or did you move back?
But when we met, me and my wife, she's studying in Gothenburg design, so I moved down south, and it was a really tough time in the beginning. But then after 1 year, when she was finished with the school, we moved up north again. And we lived like in a small hut in the forest, and just lived a simple life without electricity and water. And we still live there, but now we have like electricity and water, and I have like 3 kids, and we will live quite a simple life, but a good life.
Great. I was going to say, has it affected the way you live now? As obviously you said, you still live a simple way. You don't ask so much.
And the teepee, we have the teepee, we live in the teepee, we have the teepee, the teepee, the tent that I live in when I lived in the forest, it's still up.
Oh, really?
So we sleep there a lot, me and my kids, and my wife also.
Great.
It's important for me as a father to give my children that, experience, because I think that can help them when, they become older, and maybe when they are a little bit stressed, maybe they will realize, okay, if I go out and just lay myself in a sleeping bag out in the forest, it will become clearer in the head,
Yeah. Because it is worry. Like I worry now, not much, but I've started to think about the fact that my kids can be born soon, and in 10 years I don't know what life's going to be like. You see now the fact that mobile phones and the internet kind of dominates people's lives. And what's it going to be like in 10 years? It's nice for your children to have that counterpoint.
But your kids will live, they will do as you do, and of course they must find a way to live with internet and all this information. I must also do that, and sometimes it's hard, but I think it's important as a parents to also show them, the nature and the feeling that the basic needs can give you, because then they will, I think that's important, and I think it's going to be more and more important in the society we're living today.
Absolutely.
Because it's so easy to just be in the information world. You just look in at the television all the day, and you just read the newspaper, and you listen to music, and it's never, quiet around you.
Yeah.
And I think that do something bad with you. I think it's important to just put yourself sometimes in an environment that's everything is just quiet and a little bit cold. I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So.
And do you have a piece of advice for people? I mean, a lot of people, listeners might live in London or live in cities around the world. Do you have any advice for people to try and, not necessarily like living in the forest?
I think so. Yeah, I think to be restless, that's not a bad thing. And I think sometimes just switch off your telephone. Yeah. And then you go out in, maybe you have like a big park in London. You take like a walk just by yourself. Maybe you feel a little bit afraid of the dark. That's just positive. And then when you came back home, don't light the light bulb, but light like a candle instead, and just sit there and just reflect a little bit more. Yeah. You understand? Okay. Just get a little bit more easy sometimes. Not always, but one and then, maybe once a week or 3 times every month. Just be by yourself, just in your own head. And sometimes, if you're a runner, don't put on your watch. Just go out for a run and just feel your own heart and just think big thoughts. Just be in your body. I think that helps you a lot. If you are stressed, just go out for a long run or for a long walk. It will help you. We have a body, and so we must also use the body in a good way, Yeah. Today people are a lot of stress, and they just pushing life harder. They just push their head more information, and I think to run can really help.
Yeah, it's like life seems to be about numbers and about this target and that target and everything, and actually your body doesn't care. Your heart, and especially with running, your heart and your lungs don't care about the number that it says on your Strava account. All it cares is about the effect, the physical effect that training's having on you. So we do fall into that trap. Certainly I do myself, so I shouldn't I shouldn't preach.
But no, but that's, I think, because when I am down south on the island where I was born, and in the summertime I just go out in the ocean for a swim, and I just swim underwater. That's perfect. You don't need a watch or a big car for appreciate that feeling. And I think we should do things like that more.
Yeah, definitely.
If you do things like that more, the nature will survive. So it's just free.
Yeah.
Just realize that it's free and just do it.
Yeah, and it brings more enjoyment to those times when you do worry about those things, I guess.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
fantastic. Yeah.
But when you live a life, sometimes life it will be tough. And it's a part of being a human being. It's like that, It's no meaning to be afraid of everything, Life is more, circular. Yeah. It's like a highway, and up and downs. Life is like that. Sometimes you are hungry, sometimes you are full, sometimes you are sad, sometimes you are happy. Yeah. That's the way it should be, Sometimes you're in good shape and sometimes you're in bad shape.
Yeah.
Just continue.
Just live with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. I shouldn't keep you too much longer, but I've got 3 more questions that we asked to all of the interviewees. And they are, if you could be anywhere running right now, where would you be?
Just where I am, up in the northern part of Sweden, in the fall. It's just amazing, the air is just crystal clear, and now the green leaves become more red, because in the night it's minus 0 degrees, and when it's like that, the leaves become red, and it's so beautiful, So I am at the right spot right now.
Lovely. And the second question is, can you recommend us anything? So whether you've read a brilliant... Well, actually, we can recommend your book, but any other books or anything that have influenced you, or anything else that you'd like to recommend to the listeners?
Yeah, I think a book written maybe 150 years ago, Walden Pound by Henry David Thoreau. It's quite a heavy book, but it's a good book.
Okay, fantastic. And the final question is, in your opinion, what's been the greatest endurance performance of all time?
When I see, Bekele and those guys running like that smooth stride. So maybe the world record in 5,000 meters, but also the marathon. That's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I chose those two.
Yeah,
the marathon record and the 5,000 meters.
Fantastic. And that's it. That's the last question. Yeah. But thanks so much for talking to us, Markus. We'll look out for the book. Bye. I'll put a link on the website for where we can pick up the book. Is it available through all bookshops?
Yeah, bookshops, Amazon, or So,
excellent.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yes,
great
thank
stuff.
You.
And good luck with your running.
Yeah, thank you. The same.
Nice interview there with Markus. I think I'd like to go and live in a tent in the middle of nowhere for a while.
I don't think Molly would agree with you.
No, she likes the trappings of modern life, and having a little baby I don't think could really work that way. But it sounds nice to just to be able to enjoy running again and not have to think about performance and being pushed into doing stuff you don't necessarily feel comfortable with. So yeah, nice thoughts from Markus. So
extreme but nice.
Extreme, yeah. But anyway, but we're off. We are not off. We are coming to. I'm coming to London. You're already there this Wednesday,
of course,
for the live show. If anyone still wants to come down, they can. Go onto Facebook / Let's Get Running and look at the events there, and you can sign up for that. It'd be great to have everybody coming along and saying hello. We should have some t-shirts there as well, which should be good. Some new t-shirts for you to have a look at. So yeah, it should be all good. Looking forward to that, Jermaine.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. I was going to say you'll be leaving smiling. Yeah, a comedy show. Yeah.
We've had a review in the meantime since last week. We've had a great one.
Yeah. Go on.
And this one is entitled "Four," which I like, and it's by D to the power of 3. And he hints there. Do we know D to the power of 3? And he says, or she says, I'm not sure. Could be either. It's a non-sexual specific name. But they say my two biggest.
You're killing it.
My two biggest passions in life are running and transport. It's rare to find a podcast that combines the two. Loving the White Devil / Caramel.
Fan right there. That's my number one fan right there. That's my number one fan.
Loving the White Devil / Caramel kid dynamic. Good work, lads. And after that, he puts 2 emojis, one a runner, one a bus. So he's encapsulated the show there in 2 emojis. Nice one.
We could do a live show on the bus.
I reckon that is our calling. Let's talk to TFL. Nice one. So you're going to go and have a coffee, Jermaine, in Costa. There are other brands. Yeah, other brands are available, unless Costa want to pay us some money for this. Then in which case, there's only one brand. That's Costa. You enjoy your coffee. I'm going to go for a haircut, so I'm going to go and do that, and we'll see everyone Wednesday. Aerodynamic. Yeah.
For the race.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. I need to get this mock.
You're going to get a go fast stripe.
I think I will. Yeah. Oh no, I'm going to
be a bit crazy and get eyebrow slash.
I think I've just decided
it will go back, so you might as well do it just for this month's fun, and then put it up on the podcast, like the Insta.
I think I'm going to get. You remember Biker Grove? I'm going to go for because at the moment I look a bit like Jeff from Biker Grove. Do you remember the guy that used the old guy with like a beard and like big curly hair? So I'm going to go in there and say, "Can I have a PJ and Duncan, please?" And then get like you remember he had like that big undercut. I'm not the only one who knows what I'm talking about. But anyway, Biker Grove I'm going to be, the new Biker Grove fan. We'll see.
And eyebrow slash.
Eyebrow slash. Got it. I'm there.
Yeah?
Nice
I'm going to be harassing you for that.
On that note, I'm off. Have a good day. Enjoy the coffee. See you later.
See you, people. Bye.